Hello, I am Father Casmirnema, SVD of Radio Veritas Asia. Welcome to this special program called Conversations with Asian Bishops. It is a privilege and honor today we have Reverend Sebastian Francis of Penang, Malaysia. He is also head of Bishop Conference of Malaysia, Singapore and Brunei, and currently head of FABC Office of Social Communication. Bishop Sebastian, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Malaysia is considered one of the Catholic minorities in Asia. Can you provide us a general picture of Catholic Church in Malaysia and particularly your Diocese of Penang?
We are a minority, but I would prefer to think of ourselves as a mustard seed. We are small, but for us small is beautiful because we can be a mustard seed, we can be a leaven in the bread, and therefore we are a sign of the presence of Jesus Christ in Malaysian life and society. So we are quite comfortable being small.
What motivated you to respond to God's call, to say yes to His call?
So I must say it was the French missionary fathers and the Canadian brothers of St. Gabriel that motivated me to want to be like them.
In FABC, you know about the famous triple dialogues, no? I believe Malaysia, Singapore, and Brunei also perhaps have implemented this dialogue with culture, dialogue with religion, dialogue with the poor.
Culture must begin with language because people use the language of the heart in order to come closer to God and to come closer to one another. So the triple dialogue with other religions, with cultures and with the poor is almost our life blood. We breathe that. It's not just a caption or something, but something that is part of our pastoral on a daily basis almost. Because we have constantly to be interacting with people of other religions, with people of various cultures, with people who speak many Asian languages, including English, and therefore it is something that is not superficial or cosmetic. It is something that really is part of our daily life.
Pope Francis proposed a synodal path of the Universal Church, still ongoing process. It is aimed to a way of approaching in our mission. If I ask you, what is a synodal church to you, Bishop?
I have been suggesting at many different forums, including FABC, and at the level of the Catholic Bishops Conference of Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, the various platforms that are available within Malaysia and in my own diocese, that I think we need a paradigm shift, and which comes with a paradigm conversion. And of course, the Synodal Church is about listening, it's about dialogue, it's about journeying together, but it is also about making decisions and moving forward where the Spirit is leading the church in Malaysia or in Asia. And I'm quite excited about the idea that we need a paradigm understanding of the church. And for a long time, we have been comfortable with the concept that the church is a church of clergy, religious, and laity. And that has served us well. But maybe the Holy Spirit is now moving us in a certain direction. And I have suggested that maybe we should go back to the Gospels and start reflecting and about a church of apostles. And the successors of the apostles are the bishops. And they must lead. They must lead. And a church of disciples. The reports coming in from the various consultations about the synod is going back to a very basic area, and it is called discipleship. And discipleship is based on baptism. And therefore we are a church first of apostles. Secondly, we are a church of disciples. All of us, clergy, religious, laity, are a church of disciples. But this is a church that is not just inward looking, especially for us in Asia, where it appears that we are a minority except for the Philippines and East Timor. In the rest of Asia, we are a minority. Therefore, a church which is also opening and reaching out to the people of God. A church that is always open to God's people of whatever culture, whatever religion, whatever, and what Pope Francis calls fratelli tutti, that, that we are constantly reaching out beyond the church, and we want to share, as in Asia we say, we want to tell the story of Jesus without imposing it on anyone, to tell the story of Jesus to everyone who wants to listen. So it's that kind of orientation or direction that I just read the Instrumentum Laboris, and it is quite exciting that the Instrumentum Laboris, which will be debated in October in Rome, that the focus is not so much on more documents, but the focus is on how are we going to be church universal, how are we going to be church in Asia. And the how maybe is more important than the what. So I suggest we need a very strong vision of the church. And that vision is a church of apostles, a church of disciples, and a church of the people of God. So it's a very inclusive understanding of the church, and not just the traditional, which was good in the past, of church of clergy, religious, and laity.
Speaking of paradigm shift and church of discipleship for people of God in line with the synodal church, if I ask, what would be your suggestions to the church leaders in Asia and also around the world to make them more synodal mindset in their ministries? More practical ways.
Practical, but based on solid understanding of communion, mission, and participation, which is the key ideas that is moving the church forward through the synod. That I've always said that before we go into practicalities, we must be convinced that the continuation of the mission of Jesus Christ has been entrusted by God the Father and by God the Son primarily to the Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm. And therefore, we must believe that this mission entrusted by the Father and the Son, first to the Holy Spirit, will succeed because it has been given in the first place to the Holy Spirit, and through the Holy Spirit to the church and to all who seek God with a sincere heart. That must be the basis, really. And so whatever we do on a day-to-day basis in terms of living this mission, it is really being very sensitive to what the Holy Spirit is not only saying to the Church of Asia and the world, but how the Holy Spirit is leading the mission towards its fulfillment. So it must have a very lively relationship both with the Holy Spirit and with the people of God.
Let's move to the other questions related to your role. You have been named as the chairman of FABC OSC. What new leadership qualities you have implemented, you are going to implement to this office?
Yeah, for the time being, as we know that this FABC and FABC OSC and Radio Veritas Asia, we are going through a review. It's a time of maybe slowing down a little bit and reviewing what is going on, so that we will have the confidence to move forward with greater certainty, with a renewed understanding of our mission. So FABC has become quite strong once again, especially after we celebrated FABC 50, where about 200 bishops gathered in Thailand, and we spent 20 days together. Now that seemed to have done something to the Church of Asia. It has brought the bishops of Asia physically to live together for 20 days. And though it seemed very long, and initially we were having our hesitations and so on and so forth, but we persevered and we stayed together, and I can sense a bonding that has taken place among bishops of Asia. Now we know one another, and we feel that we must have an Asian identity for our church, and we are responsible for this. We have to give the direction for the church in Asia to be Asian, and therefore I see much hope, not only for the Office of Social Communications, but for all the structures of FABC, and we are beginning to feel that we need to speak with one voice for the Church of Asia. And Radio Veritas Asia is already a clear sign of something that is in reality happening, where the Church of Asia is able to proclaim the gospel into Asia in a very enculturated way.
Still in line with your role as FABC OSC, what is your message for the Catholic communicator or those involved with the communication ministry?
Yes, we can be focusing on the pitfalls of the digital age and the dangers and so on and so forth. But I think we can't give that as an excuse for not using the technology that the digital age is giving us as a solid, concrete, tangible way of sharing the gospel with people of Asia. So it will almost be irresponsible not to engage the instruments that are available to us in this digital age, to use this as a means to proclaim the gospel, to share the story of Jesus, and to promote all the values that we share as Asians, which are so interrelated with the values of the gospel. So that's my hope, and to build upon the past, and to just continue with the traditions that have already been put into place in the various offices of the FABC, including the Office for Social Communication, and to be very aware of the good work done by people like you who are part of this great mission for the Church of Asia and beyond, because we have a message not only to Asia but from Asia to the world and to the universal church. And if we don't speak for Asia, who will speak for Asia?
You know, one of the synodal paths requirement that the importance of laymen involvement in the church, particularly the youth. Can you tell us how the youth have been involved in your diocese, Bishop? Their activities.
Yeah. I don't like the word, the youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. I think that's a very subtle way of pushing the youth into some future. I think the youth of today are the young disciples of today, and don't push them into the future. And I think the key word for young people today is that they are called to be young disciples. They are called to be missionaries, missionaries of the joy of the gospel today, not tomorrow. They are called to be missionaries of the mercy of the Father today, and they are called to be missionaries of hope. I feel these are the three words that the Spirit has been leading the Universal Church and the youth of Asia especially, because we are still a fairly big majority in Asia, young people, and young people are the young disciples and called to be missionaries of joy, the joy of the gospel of Jesus Christ, missionaries of the mercy of the Father of Jesus Christ, and really spreading a lot of compassion and mercy, especially among fellow young people, and finally, missionaries of hope. The world is badly in need of hope. So many countries in Asia and beyond are badly in need of hope. And I think our young people must be fired up with the Holy Spirit so that they could become missionaries of hope to young people and others.
This is our final question, Bishop. Talking about, our voice is Asian to the Church of Universe. Your message to our viewers, Radio Veritas Asia. You can say anything. Would you like to convey your message to our viewers out there?
You reached almost 1 million viewers
Yes.
recently. And I'm aware that you are reaching out to countries that are which are still developing, which are still very rural, and which is still the situation in so many countries of Asia. And therefore, thank God for our predecessors who laid the foundations from the Philippines to beam to the whole of Asia. And especially now that you have gone digital, and actually there's a potential to reach out to many more now that you are digital with more clarity and so on and so forth. So my wish, my prayer for all viewers of Radio Veritas Asia is that we will have a relationship with you, a relationship, an encounter with you through Radio Veritas Asia. And it will be more than just technical. It will be a real encounter with individuals, with communities, with cultures, and an opportunity to have spiritual conversations. That word has become very important at FABC, and now I see it has come out in the Synod document that rather than just talk about having discussions and endless debates, that we begin to have conversations that are called spiritual conversations, where we share what the Spirit is saying to us, all of us together, individually as well as a community. So that's my hope, that these spiritual conversations will continue through Radio Veritas Asia and beyond.
Bishop Sebastian, thank you very much for being with us today, sharing your ideas, your thoughts. I am Father Kasmir Nema, and thanks for watching this program, and see you next time for more interesting conversations with Asian bishops.
Radio Veritas Asia, the voice of Asian Christianity. Radio Veritas Asia mobile app offers services in English and 21 Asian languages. Download the Radio Veritas Asia app to get more videos from Radio Veritas Asia. Comment, like and share.